What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and in this video we're on episode 100 of the Streamline podcast. So yay, that's what's going on. Made it to episode 100. Sorry I haven't been streaming, working a lot, and plus I have really cool projects that I can't wait to share with the world and everything concerning my book and an interesting game that I've been developing. So there's a lot that's been going on. I've been posting up a lot of stuff on the website, keeping up with that. So just been busy, 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 busy. Today we are going to talk about 6 interesting topics because a lot of stuff has been happening, and I can't find that list of other things that I had written down because I want to do more videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. 6 topics that we're going to be jumping into is 343 Industries canceling the co-op for Halo Infinite, which is BS. The new Assassin's Creed codename Red game. The Thunderbolts casting. Uh, Netflix canceling Resident Evil, even though that isn't really anything new, but I just want to get my thoughts on it. The revival of Dead Island 2, and King Kong series coming to Disney Plus. Now, there is a lot that I have to say about all of these interesting topics, so we'll get to the one that I feel like I'm that really enthused with the most, which is probably the cancellation of the Resident Evil uh, series, which doesn't come to as a shock to most of us. But before I get into that, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. Ooh, my beard looks like, ooh, need to cut that bad boy. I've been trying to get it to where I upload every week, but like I said, I've been so busy with the different projects. But we put out content, guys. It's good content. Go ahead and check it out. But let's go ahead and get back into it. Now, for those who have not seen my Resident Evil uh, episode reviews, go check them out. Go check them out on my main channel. They're fun. You get to see me talk crap about the series. You get to see me rant, see me pissed off because the series was just that bad. And ever since they announced it, that they were going to have a live action series, gave details of what it is, which it could have actually had potential to be really, really good. Because I think the time period thing of building up to what happens to the outbreak and how they're trying to survive after the outbreak, I think that's the makings for a really intense and actually engaging storyline. But the problem is you got to have a good writing, you got to have a good story, and you got to have good characters. Unfortunately, Resident Evil Netflix version of it was just absolute trash. Even when they put the picture up showing who the casting is, and look, the whole thing is everybody acknowledges that Lance Reddick is in the series. Everybody acknowledges that this man is a good actor. This was not a good move. This is definitely not a good move. And now, not to say that he's the only one to stand out. Now, honestly, I actually like the main chick, not the girl. I mean, really, I don't have anything against any of the actors or actresses outside the fact that they made a bad decision and took a role for this. But you got to get a paycheck some kind of way, right? So really the main chick, the older chick who's the main chick, I have nothing against her. I think she does a decent job acting wise. And I've seen her. She was the chick in the Charlie's Angels that was like the tough, manly woman. One had the manly energy or whatever. She was like the tough guy of the group, and I didn't really like her in that movie because she represented, especially when you get to see like fight scenes and she's in here beating up dudes that probably would give her more challenge than would give her the film. And you can make that argument, well, all of the Charlie's Angels films are kind of like that, which I guess so. But this one felt like it was trying to be more serious, and if they're going to be more serious, you got to take everything a little bit more serious and not where it's more convenient. But the main chick I didn't like. In fact, I would actually ask her out on a date. But just the and but the whole thing about this one is this show definitely deserved it. This show definitely deserved it. It was no shock that they were. And then I was listening to what the creator had to say. I think the creator had to say that he had wanted to make like 15 seasons, and I think, and I was like, how? Now, I'm not one of those fans that's like, okay, we have a Resident Evil television series out or a movie that they have to have the main cast: Leon, Chris, G, Claire, Wesker, Barry, Rebecca. Uh, I'm not that guy that's like, you got to have those characters. It's like, no, because Resident Evil is a worldwide event. And there's 7 trillion people, over 7 trillion people in the world. So whenever an outbreak happens, the main cast ain't gonna always be there. And it wasn't the fact that the main cast wasn't in there. Yes, Albert Wesker was in it, but that's not Albert Wesker. We all acknowledge that as well. But having said that, if you're going to make characters and create these new characters for this series and everything, you're going to tie it up, make it be good. Most of the characters were garbage. The storylines were garbage. There was a bunch of teen angst and drama that was garbage. The storytelling, garbage. The editing, garbage. And one of the problems I know I definitely had with the series was I didn't mind that they jumped from the present to the past, but it was how they did it. If they would have did possibly one episode in the past, one episode in the future, because there was one at one point, like within the last 2 or 3 episodes, they introduced a small clip of what happened in one timeline, and then the rest of the episode was the other timeline. Then at the end of it, they kind of tease what happened. They go back to the original, the other timeline, and then the other episode did the same thing, but they flipped it. So the other timeline, if they would have did that, I think they would have been a better at storytelling, because sometimes an action sequence will go on for like 2 minutes, and then they go back into a different timeline, which kills the overall pacing and engagement of whatever scene that was in. But also, the narrative is already pretty bad, and all of these moments where they try to make parallels where don't need to be in the parallels. Look, it was just bad. It was just bad. It was Batwoman bad levels of bad. It was Birds of Prey levels of bad. It was Halo the TV series levels of bad. Just ultimately one of the worst shows that I have ever seen in my life. But Netflix isn't new to canceling stuff, and I'm not. They cancel a lot of really, really good shows, but this one I have to give them thumbs up, 2 thumbs up, because Resident Evil, the Netflix version of it, was complete garbage, which is weird, because when you look at Netflix's vision for Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Castlevania, um, uh, what is that show, the new animated show that everybody's going crazy about, League of Legends or World of Warcraft. One of them, no, League of Legends. If you look at Luke Cage, if you look at like those interpretations of like really, really good shows, even like the Cuphead show. I like the Cuphead show. Like, they're awesome, but how do we just and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it don't all that stuff doesn't really have that woke stuff in it. Now the League of Legends show, I think it has a little bit of it, but when you have shows that are dedicated to content, good storytelling, good focus of characters, um, they work. Netflix is on point with it. But when it comes to these stupid shows, when they try to put this woke crap in, one of the biggest adaptations that kind of pisses me off, but oddly enough, it does intrigue me. I'm still somewhat interested because they do hit a lot of good key points in it. Is the She-Ra Princess of Power series they have? It's one of the most frustrating and most worst written series I've ever seen. But I can't step away because I like some of the characters, I like some of the interactions, some of the drama. I hate She-Ra. I hate about half the cast of characters, but it's when you have good adaptations, they work. When you don't put woke crap in it, they work. Even with the animated Resident Evil Infinite Darkness series, for as much as I was frustrated with it, not that it was terrible, it could have been better. There's typically a formula that a lot of these movies and games kind of follow with Resident Evil, and this one kind of followed it to a T, which I wish they would have changed it. But even like with that one, reason why I think that one was a bit better because the storytelling was a little bit stronger. But yeah, as far as Netflix canceling Resident Evil, I ain't mad at them. It's a dumb show. Watch my reviews. You'll be more entertained than the show was. The main chick was absolutely hot. Her sister in the future is absolutely hot. All of the characters are pretty much a garbage. Everything about that series is damn near garbage. So, uh, and I don't still understand why they strayed so far from the source material because I do like the Resident Evil films with Mila Jovovich in it, even though they have fuck all to do with the actual source material, but they was more close to the source material than this show was. And at least with that show and with those movies, it felt like it was Resident Evil. You got the zombies, you got the monsters, you got the madness, you got the action. There's some sequences where it was actually pretty good horror in it. It was a lot of intense moments. The thing about it is, it was actually enjoyable, despite the fact that the writing was shit. So I don't understand what Resident Evil, Netflix's Resident Evil couldn't pick up on that. But yes, and then and also I wanted to talk about video game adaptations and kind of the success rate that they have. They're not really good. I mean, honestly, the most popular one at this moment, the most successful one at this moment, is Sonic the Hedgehog. Absolutely killer show. Movies. I finally seen the first one before I watched the second one. Loved both of them. And I still have yet to see Castlevania. I did watch the Cuphead show. Really enjoyed that one. There's a lot of other shows too. Even going back to like the original Legend of Zelda, I still like the Super Mario show. Donkey Kong is kind of aged. It's showing his age a little bit, but I still somewhat enjoy it. I was really surprised with the Legend of Zelda though, because I was like, this is a quite a different Link than I remember. Because this one was flirting and stuff. But even when it comes to like those adaptations and stuff, look, just go with good source. Just go with good material. Just go with good material. That's all I'm saying. All I am saying. The Tomb Raider films, I have my issues with them. I do think they are enjoyable, but they just don't feel like Laura Croft films. They feel like Angelina Jolie films, especially with all the posing and all the different outfits that she has and all the over the top action and most of the fact that in fact even with the Tomb Raider film that had the new chicken, I can't remember her name now. Uh, it didn't feel like Tomb Raider because I wanted to see majority of the movie with her being in a tomb in the woods, trying to figure out ruins and different languages and stuff. And pretty much most of those films you don't really get that. Now in the rebooted Tomb Raider one, I'll give it that she went to the island and stuff like that. Fine, but the first like third of the movie was just absolute garbage. But anyway, so Netflix, thumbs up to you. You canceled something that was actually supposed to be canceled. So moving on to topic number 2, Dead Island 2 has been revived, and I wanted to go ahead and give my thoughts on that. Now, it was originally brought up in E3 in 2014 about them having a sequel to Dead Rising. Now, for those who don't know, Dead Island is about this viral outbreak, zombie outbreak on this island, and you play as one of 4 characters, co-op to make your way out and to survive. It's a horror game, but it has a lot of great RPG elements. The co-op was not bad, and there was a lot of room for freedom when playing the game. One of the best aspects of Dead Island was the fact that most of the zombies felt like threats. No matter at what level that you got to, all the zombies pretty much were threats. All of the zombies could kill you. So that was one of the, and then I had a lot of great fun times with my friends. We used to play the co-op together. It was actually really, really fun. They came out with Riptide, which basically is like the Gat out of hell. But it was actually introduced new missions, new areas. I remember Dead Island 2 was going to be a thing. And I was interested and I was a little bit worried because when I seen the trailer, I was like, how do you name something Dead Island and it's not taking place on the, it's just somewhere, and basically kind of to make like that because Dead a lot was one of them. I think it was the atmosphere. I like the fact that it was open world. I like the characters. I like the story. I like the combat. I like the customization. I like the elements. I like the exploration. Like, but the zombie killing not was not one of the strongest. In fact, one of the best things about it was you didn't want to engage some zombies because one, they were fast, and two, they could gang up on you. And when they ganged up on you, it was damn hard to get them off. So, but finally, almost what about 8 or 9 years later, and it's been in development hell, and a lot of it is because they've been switched over to different developers. So, at once they switched to Jaeger, and they ended up switching to Sumo Digital, and then finally Buster Studios, which I guess is who developing it now. But yes, it's official now. We are getting a Dead. Now I'm interested in how they're going to upgrade the RPG elements. I know it said something about it's going to be, what was it? It said something about it was going to be less something and more something else. And I think it's going to be less like the horror theme and be more of the actiony feel of you attacking and killing zombies. And if that's the case, I don't want that because I don't want this to feel like Dead Rising. If I wanted to go kill hordes of zombies, play Dead Rising, play Left 4 Dead, play World War Z, play Resident Evil 6. But just generally, I want this to be feeling kind of like a survival game in certain respects. Now, I would like to see that this game actually have like you can build you a little fort, defenses, supplies, kind of like what they got going on with State of Decay. You can pick survivors up and you can send them out on missions and stuff like that. Maybe not send them out on missions, but you can save people, bring them to your fort, they help defend it. I think that would be an interesting idea for it. I'd rather have that than sit here just going out and just killing like this is Army of the Dead or something like that. Although, if y'all haven't seen it, go on YouTube, watch the scene with Chambers fighting the zombies. Hands down, one of the best zombie assault ass kicking scenes of all time. Zack Snyder just, for as much as I hate that movie because of how it was written and how it was edited, that scene was freaking. That deserves a thumbs up. That deserves a thumbs up. But it's supposed to be the first title to integrate this new system called the Alexa Game Control. I can't remember. I think it's. I think the Alexa Game Control is, which I think is kind of interesting, is where you get to switch, but you have to say it. So it's verbal confirmation to switch weapons and stuff like that, which I think is interesting. But I don't give a shit about that. To me, I can easily just press a button. The same effort, I could just press a button and switch. And plus, I'm an avid gamer. I'm a veteran gamer. So you used to pressing the button, holding the button down, and switching is basically a reflex at this point. But going back, Dead Island 2. I'm happy to see that that they're picking it back up. They're doing it again. It's great to see a lot of these sequels come out of development hell and actually be going onto something and being returned. And I just want to play it. I want my friends to jump on it with me, and I'm willing to give this a shot. I don't want this to feel like Dead Rising. I don't. I don't want to sit down and they saying, hey, let's. In fact, don't feel like Dead Rising. It looks like, from what I seen in the gameplay, it's not like they showed anything but you just killing zombies. It's like I'm not playing fucking Doom or Doom Eternal. you know, I don't want to sit there and get my rocks off on the kill. So I want to play and be challenged like I was in the first one. So I'm interested, worried a little bit, but I'm a bit interested. So moving on to the next topic. Now, for those who don't know, the MonsterVerse, I love it. I think it's a good idea. For those who don't know what the MonsterVerse is basically kaiju movies all sharing the same universe. Look, Marvel isn't the first one to do the whole cinematic universe. It wasn't. If you look back to the 70s and stuff like that, the 60s and 70s, you had the Godzilla films. If you look past that, you had the Dracula, Frankenstein, the Wolfman films. So no, Marvel didn't start it, but they did a good job of putting it together. And that's not to say that this shouldn't be a thing, because there are a lot of franchises that should be have cinematic qualities to them. Like for one, I think that they were trying to redo like the Dracula, Universal Monsters, cinematic universe thing. They need to do that. It actually makes sense. The first movie, The Mummy, did not do well because it was fucking dumb. Although the main chick was hot, completely hot. And Tom Cruise just fucking overshadowed the film. This is one of the few times I can say Tom Cruise should not have been in the fucking movie. But anyways, the whole idea of the cinematic monsterverse, all of these kaiju, is basically Godzilla and King Kong. They share this one universe now. All of the kaiju monsters, King Ghidorah, King Kong. You got Rodan. You have the giant moth thing. Cool, cool, cool. They're all in the same cinematic. They have this big cinematic universe thing going on. And they do have sequels that are coming up, but they decided to come up with, I guess, an origin story for King Kong, which is going to be in a series on Disney Plus. It's going to be produced by Atomic Monster, which was founded by James Wan. James Wan, I believe, is the guy that did Aquaman. He did the Conjuring, I think. Now, yeah, I think he did either The Conjuring or Sinister. He did something like that. In fact, I'm going to look this up because I want to be very accurate with what I'm saying. But if I am correct, he is the guy that did Aquaman. He did oh yeah, yeah. I just wanted to be very, very, very accurate with what I'm saying. Wikipedia is a beast. So let's see what this man's credits are. He directed a couple of the Saw films. He directed Dead Side. A lot of his stuff is like horror themed. Yeah, I was like The Conjuring. He did one of the Fast and the Furious, Aquaman, the new Aquaman, Malignant. Yeah, this man has done a lot. He's done a couple of the Saws as well. So he is going to be the guy. His company that he founded, Atomic Monster, is going to be producing it. I'm interested to know why in the fuck this is going to be on Disney Plus, because I was under the assumption that Godzilla in MonsterVerse, everything in this MonsterVerse shebang was under Universal. So how did Disney Plus get the rights to make King Kong? Why wouldn't it be on Universal? I don't know about that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But okay. Now it's supposed to be Kong in his early days or whatever on Skull Island. And to some extent, I think that's okay. I think that's interesting. My thing actually would be, fuck that. I don't want to see Kong when he's younger. I would like to actually see uh, John C. Riley's character on Skull Island as throughout the years as he's growing. You know what I mean? Like him and the Japanese guy wash up on the island. They are initially enemies until they meet Kong, and then now they're on this island together trying to survive against these giant monsters. I would like to see that. That I think would be uh, a much more interesting television series. We get to explore, do what Skull Island didn't do, because I feel like Skull Island probably would have worked better as a series, because you got all of these different characters that we could explore, and these people are in different locations, so you see them struggling to survive and learn and adapt in this world with these giant monsters in it. But I would have settled for John C. Riley's character returning in the series, and him trying to adapt to this life with these giant monsters, never seeing his family again, him dealing with these native people that have been on the island. Like, I think that would be a much more compelling story. Um, But yeah, like I said, Skull Island would have benefited as a television series first. Now, the writer is Stephanie Folsom, who wrote Paper Girls. I ain't never heard of that. I don't even know that sounds stupid. No, let me not say that. That's not fair. That's not fair. Now, I don't know what Paper Girls is. I haven't seen it. Maybe it'll be good. Now, Netflix. We just talked about Netflix. Netflix is doing a Skull Island anime series, and I'm kind of worried about that. I'm kind of worried about that. But I'm like, okay, I guess beggars can't be choosers. I just said I wanted to see a Skull Island television series, so fuck it. There we go. It's going to be an anime. I want to see what is it going to be following Kong, because I wanted to follow Kong, follow some actual characters. Because one of the best things about Skull, one thing I can say I like about Skull Island and the whole monster verse with Godzilla is these films have a great way of making the human feel small. Like these monsters, like when you watch the first Godzilla film, almost every shot of Godzilla and the Mutos are shot from human perspective, so it makes the creatures look bigger. You see that again in Kong, Godzilla versus Kong. You see it in Godzilla King of the Monsters. You definitely see in King Kong Skull Island. So I want them to maintain that with the anime series. I don't want it to follow, even with the Disney Plus one. I don't want it to follow Kong. Why? I don't want to see that shit. Give me some human characters. I want it to be like we look at these colossal creatures. I don't want it to be, back in the day, like when you see people in the suit and you see this city. Obviously, they're bigger than the city, but it doesn't feel like that because you're seeing it from their perspective. So, I want that. I don't mind the anime series. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Maybe it'll be some good. I think that's an interesting way to go, but maybe it's for the best. I don't know. We'll definitely see. I think that they're going to go with the anime series. It's going to be kind of like the Godzilla animated series that they had in the late '90s, early 2000s, based on the rebooted Godzilla that came to Manhattan in that film. I know that film got a lot of flack because people are like that's not Godzilla. Fuck that. I like that movie. I do. It was a great kaiju movie, and the animated series was badass. You got a monster of the week, and you got some really pretty badass fights out of it. So, honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing some of those monsters make their appearance in this whole monster verse. But yeah, King Kong's getting this series coming to Disney Plus again. I'm kind of questioning why the hell coming on Disney Plus and not HBO Max. But okay, fine. Moving on. Now, I'm a huge Assassin's Creed fan. I haven't played the more recent games, but I've played a few of the other older games. Assassin's Creed 2, 3, Black Flag, the one where you're in China, Brotherhood, I think is the one where you're in London with the twins, Rogue. I need to get Liberation. And I think one or two other ones. But I've really enjoyed Assassin's Creed. I think the idea of it's really interesting. I like the different time periods. I do feel now that they're getting a little bit more gimmicky with it because they had Origins, which was set in Egypt. You got Valhalla, which is with Vikings. You got the one where it's taking place in like Greek mythology. And I'm like, okay, y'all getting a little bit too gimmicky with it now. And if it isn't actually feeding into the actual story, overall story, then it feels like y'all being a little bit too gimmicky about it. What's the next one? Assassin's Creed Africa, Kenya, Somalia, Brazil, Bahi Bahi, Hawaii. You know what I'm saying? It's like in the Arctic. So you just tone it down just a little bit, just a little bit. But yes, as long as these new games actually contribute to the overall story, then fine. Maybe they do. I don't know. I haven't played them. I'm kind of interested. No, honestly, I'm not interested in any of them. Now, this one I am, and there's a lot. New one, Assassin's Creed Codename Red, which that's an interesting name. Codename Red is going to be set in feudal Japan. Now, I've always wanted like a shinobi type game or a samurai type game, and the closest thing that I have had is Ghost of Tsushima, which is actually a pretty freaking awesome game. And the developing studios coming out with another game similar to it, which is going to be totally different, which I'm interested in actually jumping on and playing. But this actually has caught my interest as well, because if you think about the Assassin's Guild, essentially are shinobi. They utilize stealth, they utilize trickery type techniques, like, disappearing in the crowd, smoke bombs, like kunai bolts to achieve assassinations, infiltrations, espionage, things like that. They essentially are shinobi or ninjas. So it'd be nice to actually see them, uh, what we would perceive as like the origin of shinobi. But of course, it's not, because Egypt and the Greece one and everything. This seems like an appropriate. That's all I'm saying. So the writer Jonathan Dumont, who wrote The Immortals, Phoenix Rising, which I still want to play the game, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Odyssey is the one where it's in Greece or Rome or whatever. Um, will serve as the creative director. I don't know who this fool is. I haven't played either one of these games, but obviously he's doing something right because they got him as creative director. So I think this would be interesting. We don't get much in terms of the way it looks or anything, but it's just the expectation. It's like, okay, are we gonna be fighting other shinobi? Are we gonna be fighting samurai? Are they gonna be Ronin type characters? Look, Ghost of Tsushima has definitely spoiled me on this, so I definitely want to see like some ninja on assassins uh, action. You know what I'm saying? I'm interested in the shinobi angle too. Is it going to be? I mean, I know you're going to be playing as the assassin, but are they going to try to tweak it a bit to be more like a shinobi? Because when you look at Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, you're an assassin, but you play more as a pirate. If you look at Assassin's Creed 3, yes, you're an assassin, but they have more of the Native American traditionalist features added to the character, and not only the way that he approaches the mission, the kills, but also the weaponries. And I'm like, okay, you been in Japan, of course. It's like, how's it going to reflect on the characters? Are you going to, like, visually wise with the costumes, weapons? Are we going to use throwing stars, kunai, smoke bombs, like things like that? You know what I'm saying? Running on water potentially. So I'm interested in stuff like that. So and like I said, Ghost of Tsushima has set the bar pretty fucking high, and I think that Ubisoft need to get on it and hopefully hit that mark. In fact, exceed that mark. But for those who haven't played for those who haven't seen or played Ghost of Tsushima, quit fucking around. Get on that. Get on it. That game is on point. So, uh, as far as Assassin's Creed Codename Red goes, we'll see. I'm very hopeful. This probably is the biggest project from the Assassin's Creed games that I've been anticipating since pretty much Black Flag. But that's neither here nor there. Moving on. The Marvel has announced its casting or characters for the Thunderbolts film that is coming out. And for those who don't know, the Thunderbolts is basically just Marvel's answer to DC's Suicide Squad, in which they take a bunch of anti-heroes, anti-villains, and villains, and some heroes, and they have them do these Black Ops missions. Now, originally, when it first debuted, Thunderbolt Ross ended up getting making a group of villains come together under um, what's that guy name? Baron Zemo. Zemo ended up bringing the guys together, and even though they had wanted to do world domination under the guise of being good guys, basically the waters got a little bit muddy. It's interesting because there have been several incarnations of the Thunderbolts with multiple different characters. Again, like DC's Suicide Squad. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't give a fuck what nobody say. The 2016 Suicide Squad, I actually liked. Maybe not the villain and the motivations, but I did like the characters' interactions. I like the characters. I like some of the action. I like some of the humor as well. The Suicide Squad, which is the sequel to it, really enjoyed that one as well. So, having said that, let's get back to it. Thunderbolts casting. Let's go ahead and go. You got Yelena Belova, who's returning from the Black Widow film. Yelena is Natasha's sister, and and Black Widow wasn't a train wreck to me. There was a lot of bad writing in it and a lot of questionable decisions, but I really enjoyed the family dynamic, the dysfunctional family dynamic between the characters. I did like the relationship between Natasha and Yelena, and I want to see more of Yelena's character, especially since Natasha's character has passed away in the events of Endgame. But I actually like her. She's taken on the mantle as new Black Widow, as per her character does in the comics. Um, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do with her character. From what I've read, she's leading the team. I'm a little bit because I'm thinking Barazimo was going to come back, and I guess there still is a chance that he could come back to lead the team. But I actually like her character, and I want to see more from Yelena. We have also returning from Black Widow, Master, and Red Guardian, which is weird because I love Olga Kurylenko. I like her as an actress. I like a lot of things. This was one of the questionable decisions with that they did. Look, I understand everybody's woke and everything, and we're sitting here swapping genders, swapping races, swapping fucking plant types and everything, but I still don't understand why in the fuck they swapped. I mean, in the story of the film, I understand, but like in the business sense of it, why did they do it? Because Taskmaster's a dude, and he talks a lot of shit. So I don't understand. Now I do like the look and feel of Taskmaster. I like the how they're copying abilities. I think that's all interesting and stuff. Like I like the interpretation of it. I just don't understand the choice to make it a woman. But hopefully in this film they get more to do than what they did in the last film in Black Widow. I'm interested to see them develop the character somewhat. Like I said, I understand the story behind it in the film, but just behind closed doors, directors and the writers and all that, that kind of got me with a question. Red Guardian, fucking loved his character because he was such a jackass. And the guy that plays him, I can't remember. He plays Hop in Stranger Things. Love the guy. He's a great actor. I like a lot of stuff that he's been in. Um, but he did not get a moment in that movie, and I hope in this film he gets that moment. There is a moment in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, at the beginning of the film when they're on a mission, where you get to see Captain America like on a ship where these pirates or whatever have kidnapped these people, and Black Widow and him and the crew go there to rescue them. Where you get to see Captain America be this fucking brutal badass like mission operative running across the ship, fucking up all of these dudes. I want Red Guardian to get that moment. I was expecting that from Black Widow. I didn't get a moment. I didn't get a moment from his character. I want that. I deserve that because I like the guy that's playing him, and I want to see what Red Guardian is capable of. So give that man this moment in this film. Now I haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so I don't know much about U.S. Agent. From what I heard, he was supposed to be a candidate to be the next Captain America, but a lot of things surrounding him, his personality, the way Bucky and Falcon sat here and treated this guy. Just a lot of things led up to him basically being somewhat of a villain. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with his character as well. And I want to see if he can be as badass as Captain. I want to see his skills. I'm interested in seeing what he can do. Now we do have Ghost, who's returning from Ant-Man and the Wasp. Really liked her character. I thought she was an interesting character. She had a pretty badass ability, had a pretty interesting story. Marvel didn't do shit with her character, unfortunately, and the woman is completely hot. Hannah John-Kamen, holla at your boy. Holla at your boy. Narik Chase Studios welcomes you. But I'm interested in seeing what they're going to do with her character, and I'm wondering if she's going to return. Is Lawrence Fishburne's character going to return too? because I actually liked his character as well. So, but I'm interested. They do say that Ghost was working for Shield, and I want to see her. I do want to see her character return. Was she able to stabilize the molecular structure of her being? You know, is she still struggling with that? What is her motivations? What is she doing now? Like, I really enjoyed her character. It wasn't given much, but it just, I like the story of the character and I like the personality, and some of the shit that she did was actually freaking pretty badass. So I'm glad to see that she's going to be returning. And of course, we're going to have the Winter Soldier. Look, I like Bucky Barnes, and I'm on the fence about his character because I like him more as the Winter Soldier. As the Winter Soldier that we got in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, he was fucking badass. And it's not to say that he's not badass now, but I, it's like the difference between the Hulk and Professor Hulk. Yes, the Hulk, Professor Hulk is as strong as the Hulk, but he ain't savage like the Savage Hulk is. And I want to see some of that savage brought out. And I want to kind of see that with Bucky's character. Like, I want to see this dude be a fucking beast again. Like, again, if you look back at the fight scenes between him and Captain America, all the badass shit he did in the Winter Soldier, and you follow that up with all of his other films, you don't really get that level of intensity. It's kind of like when I watched Black Panther, when he was introduced in Captain America Civil War, fucking brutal. Then you get him in Black Panther, and he's a bit of a softie, and he doesn't have any really good moments, and everybody else overshadows his character. So, anyways, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with the casting. I'm interested to see how they're going to interact with each other. Now, the group is brought together by this woman named Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, who was introduced at the end of Black Widow, as well as a character that was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And she's basically the Amanda Waller of Marvel. Now, Thunderbolts Ross originally was the one I believe was supposed to bring them together, but we got this chick here, so fake Amanda Waller. And maybe she has appeal to her character that I haven't seen yet, because I haven't seen Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Although I did see the clip where Falcon went to rescue that guy against those Russian guys in that flight sequence. One of the best fucking action scenes in the entire MCU, in my opinion. So I don't know much about this chick. I don't know much about this chick, but I'm like, okay, fine. I don't know who this chick is. Maybe this movie will give her some brownie points and help me understand who she is. But that's what I got for the Thunderbolts casting. I know more about the Suicide Squad than I do Thunderbolts, and it'd be interesting to see what the Thunderbolts has that can be brought to the screen. And plus, I would love to do a Thunderbolts versus Suicide Squad video. So we'll see how that goes. And lastly, I want to talk about 343 Industries' decision, fucking awesome decision to cancel the co-op that was supposed to be in Halo Infinite. Look, Halo Infinite, unfortunately, I love the game. I love the open world aspect. I love the combat. I love the recruitment system. There's like a lot that I like about Halo Infinite. Is a story on point? No. It's missing a lot. It feels like it's missing a fucking lot, especially when the way Halo 5 Guardians left off. There's no fucking way Halo Infinite the story should be the way it was. And then they try to allude to something else when they shouldn't have done that. I like Halo, and they can continue making games, but let Master Chief's story end now. So we might get another game, but anyways, is the story good? Could have been fucking better, and I feel like this game is not finished. It's not. There are big sections where you're fucking flying, and there's nothing there when there clearly could have been something there. It kind of reminds me of Final Fantasy fucking 15. Love the open world aspect. The fucker ain't finished. And then you can tell there's a lot missing from it. Still, fun game. But, and then the way that Halo Infinite was developed was been fucking weird in my opinion. How do you develop a game to not have multiplayer when multiplayer is integrated in every fucking game that they've had? That's like Gears of War coming out with a Gears of War game. You have the main campaign. You set instead of you making the campaign and the multiplayer one, you make a game for the campaign and you turn around and make a game for the online multiplayer. It's fucking stupid. And then on top of that, Halo Infinite, which look, at least Halo 4 and 5, at least Halo 4 had on local co-op. I think Halo 5 had a co-op, but I think it was online. Halo Infinite don't got fucking co-op at all. What the fuck is going on? Like they should have. This is one of those moments. Like I want to talk to the head of 343 Industries, who had to step down. By the way, he stepped down. Bad decision making. And my thing is, look, I like Halo. I like Halo 4. I love Halo 4. I love Halo 5. I know people ain't they cup of tea, but I like them. Why? Because I like the story. Because it's evolved beyond just the Covenant and Flood. I like the resurgence of the Forerunner technology and stuff. I think that's absolutely great. I've been reading the books, so I know about the AI and the Forerunners and stuff like that. I understand, the AI systems that try to take over and all of that. I understand all of that shit. I think it's really good adaptation into the fucking game. Halo Infinite, what the hell going on here? They created. I was like, what the fuck? Where they at? Cortana? I'm like, what the fuck happened? Oh, all of this happened half a year ago. Wow. Okay. But honestly, I think that's kind of telling because, look, a lot of these gaming companies are just fucking lazy. And I understand that Halo Infinite had a huge ass plate to fill because they made it open world, which I'm not mad at them. I think they could have shrunk it just a little bit to incorporate a lot more into the gameplay, into the missions, into the characters and all of that stuff. Like there's one huge section in the southeast, the northwest part of the map, and once you go there, there's nothing fucking there. Now the thing, I'm like, okay, there was supposed to have been something there, but it seems like they ran out of time. They couldn't develop it. They could have just took the shit out and used that processing and all that and memory and all of that shit to focus on other things. Now it's a good looking game. It's a fun game to play, and it would, you know what, it'd have been funner with co-op. It'd have been funner with co-op. How do you make a game that's based on co-op with no fucking co-op? Now I get that there is kind of a large play because you've got this open world, the processing speed, the gameplay mechanics. I get that, but you knew this going in, so you should have had a plan. It shouldn't have been no plan of, okay, I'll just make a single player and then we'll just make a fucking totally different fucking game with the multiplayer. I'm mad. Like I said, and that's what. And now I did hear, and I thought I seen some video footage of there being co-op, specifically for the PC, and it looked good. It looked like it was running well. I don't see how they couldn't put more into this. You know what? It fucking feels like GTA 5. GTA 5 gives you a pretty big fucking game. But they put all of their effort in the fucking GTA Online crap. So, I don't know what's going on with 343 Industries, but like I said, I like Halo Infinite, but this is just a blow to them. The fact that they didn't have co-op in the first fucking place, that should have, before they even did the whole lone wolf, the whole multiplayer shit. The campaign co-op should have been first. It should have been the first thing. Then come back and do the lone wolf map crap, which should have been in the fucking. All of this should have been one damn game. But like I said, they didn't pull the fucking Final Fantasy 15 meets GTA 5 meets Halo. And then the fact that they canceled it. But the thing about it is it too late? Halo Infinite been out for a while, and even though I still want to play the co-op, is it too late at this point? Because I think it is another game that's supposed to be coming out. They probably started development on that, and they keep developing all of this extra seasonal shit for the fucking multiplayer pack, but they're not introducing anything for the. And that's one of the problems I have with the Halo games is you're gonna quit with all the seasonal maps and stupid shit for the fucking multiplayer. Do extra missions and maps and stuff for the campaign. That's how you keep it alive. Introduce new enemies. Fucking bring back the fucking Prometheans. I don't want. In fact, I don't want to fucking fight the Covenant no more. I'm done with the Covenant. We've had like 10 fucking games. Basically, you fight the Covenant. That was one of the things that pissed me off about Infinite. Where the fuck is the Prometheans? But anyways, that those are my thoughts. 6 really good topics. I've just been wanting to talk about for a minute. The Halo thing kind of pissed me off. It does. It does. Um, but anyways, in the comment section below, guys, let me know what are your thoughts. What are your thoughts about the cancellation of co-op for the Halo by 343 Industries, the Assassin's Creed Codename Red, the Thunderbolts casting, Netflix canceling Resident Evil, which is a good move. Dead Island 2 making its way back, and of course, Kong getting his own television series on Disney Plus. Be sure to leave your comments in the comment section below. Hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. We'll definitely catch you guys later.